Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Identity Insights by Indicio. I'm your host, Tim Spring, and today I'm joined by Indicio team lead Mike Ebert, and he's here to discuss the new Proven Mobile SDK. Thanks for taking the time to speak to us today, Mike. Would you mind starting us off with a little bit about yourself?
Thanks, Tim. Yeah, I'm Mike Ebert. I'm the enterprise team lead at Indicio, and I've been here almost 4 years. And it's been a great ride, and I'm excited to talk to you about our new tech today.
Awesome. Well, appreciate you taking the time to talk to us. I know you're super busy. Before we go too far, would you mind defining the term SDK for those at home that aren't familiar?
So SDK is short for Software Development Kit, and the generic definition is a set of software tools and programs that provided by hardware and software vendors that can help users develop applications for a specific platform. And so, they're meant to facilitate the creation of applications, and they provide a software framework, and they're usually specific to a particular configuration. But the whole idea is to make adding new features to your applications or your ecosystem easier.
All right, sounds good. So what is the Proven Mobile SDK then in that context?
So if you describe our SDK in the context of that generic definition, that means that the Indicio Proven Mobile SDK is a toolkit that helps our customers integrate wallet and agent functionality into their mobile applications, and then tie those applications into ecosystems that could be built with Proven and other Aries-based agents.
All right. And when you say wallet and agent functionality, what does that mean day to day for them? Can they start issuing, verifying, and using credentials essentially?
Right. So the agent and wallet bits could almost be considered, you could almost do with each of them independently. So for example, a wallet is about secure storage, and that's really important for keeping the credentials safe on your device. And then the agent bit is about protocols and logic that allow your software to help you communicate, and then also to make good decisions. And so if you put those two together, that means that you can take our SDK and add agent functionality to communicate and use those protocols, make decisions about what you're doing, and then a wallet, a place to store your credentials and things in your application.
All right. So why did Indicio build this SDK? What was kind of the impetus for this project?
So decentralized identity technology is relatively new, and you can do interesting things with it on its own, but it's also very, very powerful when you pair it with existing technology. And so Indicio had, our new technology for working with identity on servers, and that's like Proven and Akapai. And then we were able to build a method for people to integrate with that new technology in their existing technology, so you can interact with Proven using an API. So your existing server or database, you can get data in and out of Proven with that bridge. And for mobile applications, we have our mobile app like Holder Plus, and there are other agents and wallets that are out there. But for a long time, we were missing the bridge that allowed you to bring that agent or wallet functionality into your existing applications. So in case you didn't want to have an independent or standalone wallet, how do you get that into your existing app? So we built our SDK so you can bring agent and wallet code into an existing application and bridge the gap between new and old.
All right, very cool. So what makes this SDK, special, if you could? What are some features that you're excited about or that it can really bring to these organizations that want to adopt verifiable credentials and decentralized technology?
So at Indicio, we try not to reinvent the wheel if we don't have to. And so we went and looked at the SDKs that were, already available, and there are a couple out there, but we found that they were targeted to one particular code base or environment or operating system. It's like, okay, this is the Android only SDK. This is the iOS only SDK. This is the React Native only SDK. And we have customers who have asked us to be able to help them with an SDK who are running on multiple platforms. And we looked at it and thought, we don't really want to try and tackle multiple platforms with multiple code bases. And so we looked to see what we could do about that. And we found a way where we could write a single code base and then either cross-compile or wrap it so that it would work in a huge number of additional code bases or platforms. So, we wrote it in our base code language, and then we cross-compile, we build a wrapper. And so right out the gate, we'll be able to support native Android code and native iOS code and React Native applications with one SDK. And so we get great coverage across all of the possible mobile application environments that are out there from one core code base, which is really helps us leverage our developers, and it helps people who receive the SDK to be able to be effective without having to learn something new or switch platforms.
Wow. No, that seems like a huge win, really. So basically, sorry if I could summarize, what you're saying is that, right, if you cover Android and iOS, like 80 to 90% of people who use this can just write in whatever their native code that they already know is. Is that correct?
Right. So if you look at the mobile applications that are out there, most of them are written in native Android or native iOS or React Native. Those are the most popular environments for writing a mobile app. And we can add more over time, but you start with the most important ones first. So one SDK allows people to cover, it's like 90 plus or 95% plus of all the apps that are out there.
Wow. No, that's awesome. So who is the Proven SDK really built for, right? Is it those large enterprises? Can anyone kind of pick it up and play with it? What's the goal with the SDK?
So the idea was to make this useful for as broad an audience as possible. So this would be for almost anybody who has an existing application or is building a new one, as long as you're covered by native iOS or native Android code or React Native, then you can pick this up and use it. And we'll be creating more wrappers that will allow additional libraries or platforms to use the SDK as well. So if you have an application that you're responsible for developing, or if you have an application that you work with from more of a business or marketing angle, your team or your developers should be able to use this.
All right. And how can people get started?
So the first step is to get in touch with Indicio, and we'll get the materials and the code access that you need to be able to get started. And then you'll import the SDK library or a package into your environment, and then you can start making calls to the SDK. And feel free to ask us if you have questions or need help along the way.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Mike. It looks like that is about the end of our conversation today. Appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. If you at home are interested in learning more about verifiable credential technology, please be sure to subscribe to the channel. We'll continue to bring you some more educational content and announcements. If you have any questions or specific topics that you'd like for us to cover, please go ahead and leave a comment below, and we'll be sure to read and address them. Thanks again to you, Mike. If people want to learn a bit more about the Proven Mobile SDK, where would you suggest they look?
So first place to look is we made a blog post about releasing the SDK and some initial details there. And then we also have a web page on our website that you can go visit. And we'll link to those in the notes. But yeah, check those out and then get in touch if you have more questions than that.